In 1947, Dakar was the backbone of French power in West Africa. Every rifle, every ration, every rail shipment meant for colonial troops passed through its port. The French military presence inland depended entirely on what happened at the docks and along the railway lines that stretched from the coast into the interior. On paper, France controlled the territory. In reality, that control rested on African hands. Those hands belonged to dock workers, railway crews, mechanics, loaders, clerks, African men who worked long hours under colonial authority for wages far below what European workers earned for the same jobs. During World War II, many had been told their sacrifices would lead to reform. When the war ended, those promises quietly disappeared. Prices rose, living conditions worsened, wages stayed the same. By late 1947, patience ran out. The decision that followed was not impulsive, and it was not violent. African workers didn't attack soldiers or sabotage equipment. They simply stopped working. When ships arrived in Dakar's harbor, no one unloaded them. Cargo piled up on the docks. Rail yards went silent. Trains that were supposed to carry supplies inland never left the station. For the French military, the effects were immediate. Garrisons inland began to feel shortages. Equipment could not be replaced. Troop movements were delayed. Officers sent reports expressing confusion and frustration. They had men under arms. They had weapons. But without African labor, none of it mattered. An army that cannot move, eat, or resupply itself is already crippled. French authorities considered force, but they were trapped by their own system. Shooting dock workers would shut down the port completely. Arresting them in large numbers risked spreading unrest across the colony. Replacing them was impossible. The work required experience, coordination, and local knowledge that European administrators did not possess. As weeks passed, the strike spread beyond the docks. Railway workers joined in. What began as a labor dispute became a demonstration of power. Not political power, not military power, economic power. The message was unmistakable. France could occupy territory, but it could not function without African labor. The empire's strength was an illusion sustained by the very people it exploited. By 1948, negotiations followed. Wages increased, conditions improved. But the more important result was psychological. African workers had learned something irreversible. They did not need rifles to challenge colonial authority. They needed unity, discipline, and an understanding of how the system actually worked. Dakar exposed the weakness at the heart of empire. Not on the battlefield, but at the docks. Not through bloodshed, but through silence. And once that silence fell, a colonial army was brought to a standstill, without a single shot being fired.